This is Larry Jordan, the host of the Digital Production Buzz. The following interview is an excerpt from a recent program. To hear the entire program, visit digitalproductionbuzz.com. Sean Wycliffe is the CEO and co-founder of Dealflicks. This is a fairly new company that wants to help more people go back to the movies and save money at the same time. Hello, Sean. Welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah. We hear you fine. Tell me, what is Dealflicks?
Dealflicks is like Priceline, but for movie tickets. So we sell movie tickets, popcorn, and soda deals for up to 60% off on our iPhone app, Android app, or website. And the premise is there's so many empty seats that theaters have. And so what we'll do is we'll get some of those and then we'll sell them on our apps. And customers get a great deal, and theaters get new people into their theater that normally wouldn't go.
Now, why did you decide to start the company in the first place?
Yeah, that's a great question. I've always been a huge fan of movies. Growing up, I would see every type of movie, whether it was in the theater or at home. And after graduating college, I saw this movie, The King's Speech, which was a great movie, but the theater was empty. And this was just a few days after the movie came out. And so I had the idea for, there's got to be some sort of hot wire price line out there to get a good deal on movie tickets. I did some research, couldn't find anything, but I did find that about 88% of movie theater seats were empty. So after I kept doing more research, put the business plan together and started going from there.
So is the target audience for this site theater owners to fill seats, or is the target audience people to buy movie tickets? What are you focusing on?
Yeah, it's a little bit of both. So we're kind of a two-sided marketplace that needs both the buyers and the sellers, so to speak. So on one hand, we need the suppliers, which is our movie theaters, and they're our partners. And so we need to get the inventory from them so we can put it up on the site. And then we also need to go out there and do marketing to get customers to buy the inventory, to buy the movie tickets and the popcorn and soda for the movie ticket deals. So we have to do a little bit of both, and we have to kind of do them concurrently because if we just have a bunch of theaters on there and no one's buying tickets, then it's not good for theaters. And so that was a challenge initially, but now that we're getting a lot bigger, we have about 600 theaters that we're in. It's a lot easier to get more theaters and more customers.
So when you say 600 theaters, are you talking about 600 theaters nationwide or in a few states right now or where?
Yeah, they're all over the nation. So there's certain markets that were more dense than others, but essentially they're all spread out across the country.
They are. Well, that's pretty dang good. Where's your headquarters?
We're headquartered in LA, so that's where I'm at right now. We're in the Miracle Mile area of LA, and we also have an office in San Francisco where our product team works out of.
So are you dealing with the big movie chains? Or are you dealing with independent movies? I mean, are there one that likes what you're doing more than the other? Because these big movie chains, they're a tough group of people.
That's a great question. When we first got started, it was really difficult to break into the industry because there's only a few people that are out there and a few theaters that are out there. And so our first year, we talked to about 100 movie theaters before we had our first movie theater sign up. And the first theater, ironically, was a one-screen movie theater here in LA. And the owners were Korean and my co-founder was Korean. And that's a big reason why I think we were able to get that deal done. But from there, we started partnering with a lot of independent theaters. And so these were mainstream theaters that played the blockbuster as well as art theaters. And that was about the first year. After that, we started getting bigger and bigger theater chains. Now we have 13 of the top 50 movie theater chains and 3 of the top 10 movie theater chains that are partners with us.
Yeah, this makes so much sense. I don't know why they just say, yeah, absolutely, let's do this. Because they've got to be able to make money during those matinee performances where there's 4 people in there. And as long as the people, I don't know what algorithm you have, but as long as people out there know that I can get in for $6-7 or whatever on a matinee, why not? I mean, it's better than an empty seat. I mean, they've got to make money that way.
Absolutely, and that's what we're seeing now. When we first started, a lot of theaters were skeptical and unsure as to whether or not we would help them bring new customers in and new sales in. But our theaters have seen great increases in their sales, some of them as high as 10% a month in incremental sales from Dealflicks. Sure. And they're seeing new customers come in that never used to come to theaters before, existing customers coming in more often, people coming in with friends. And so it's been a great experience for our theaters.
Yeah, it begs the question, though, and I hate to say this, but why isn't Fandango doing this?
That's a good question. So when we first got started, we had the same exact question. And believe me, we get that question all the time. And a lot of it has to do with the relationships that Fandango and even MovieTickets.com have with their theaters. Both of those companies have been around now for about 15 years. And they initially were started by the movie theaters themselves as a collection of 5 or 6 movie theaters getting together to create a way to sell movie tickets online. And they have pretty much been just doing that and doing well at that. And Dealflicks came onto the scene and wanted to do something different to solve a different problem. And now we're talking with not only those companies, but other companies as well about doing different partnerships so they could sell our inventory too. So we'll see where the future goes, but we're happy that we're
Well,
safe for us to get into.
I hope you, because Fandango, when their customer base, I hope you beat them.
Let's shift gears. What does somebody that wants to attend a movie do? Do they have to become a member of Dealflicks? Does it cost them money to be a member? How do they buy a ticket? Walk me through the process.
Definitely. So the greatest thing about Dealflicks, and one of the things that we as founders really wanted to do when we started this company, is to require no membership fees, no monthly fees, no sign-up fees, nothing like that. You just open up the app by downloading it for free, or you go to our website for free, and you can see the theaters and the movies and everything like that right there. And from there, you pick the movie you want to see and the showtime and the deals that are available, and you just check out, just like you would on any other site like Expedia or whatever. And so there's no fee for that. And what you see is what you get. No convenience fees at all. We wanted to get away from convenience fees, so no convenience fees for the customer. As soon as you make the purchase, you just show your phone to the theater. If you wanted to, you can print it out, but most people just show their phone to the theater.
Yeah.
And we also save the credit card. So like Uber or Hotel Tonight, from then on, you can make purchases with 2 or 3 clicks.
Are you able to attend new features, or is this only after the movie's been in the theater for a few days?
So when we first started the company, it was usually movies that had been out for a week or 2 weeks. But starting about a year and a half ago, we went back to a lot of our theaters. And now I would say about 95% of our theaters have movies as they're even coming out within the first week or so. So you can see the newest movies on Dealflicks. In fact, if you go to Dealflicks right now, you'd be able to see things like Ant-Man or things like Trainwreck or whatever it might be. So we have a really good lineup with most all of our theaters. And so it's been a good thing.
Since we're in Los Angeles, and since it's because I love this idea, how many theaters in Los Angeles are you in right now?
You know, what's so funny about Los Angeles is
it's tough, isn't it?
This was our first theater. This is where our company's headquartered. I mean, this is where we're at. But it happens to be one of our sparsest markets for a major market. So, you know, other major markets, we have way more density. But, you know, even in LA, we have about 5, 6 theaters.
Good.
So we do have theaters here. It just happens to be a little bit more sparse than some of the other major markets.
How does Dealflicks make its money? Are you taking a commission on ticket sales?
Yeah, so we actually have a revenue sharing agreement with our theaters. So whatever we bring in, we have some revenue that comes from there. And just recently, we opened up advertising on our platform. So you might see a little bit of banners here and there. And those are our 2 main revenue streams right now.
Now, if I remember correctly, this is not the first company that you started. You started a different company and grew that. Tell me about the first company you began.
Yeah, the first company was interesting. So that's something that I started when I first became a freshman at UC Berkeley, going into my sophomore year. And I actually was approached and started selling long-distance phone service in the year 2003, which is not really something that people used in 2003. But we started selling this door-to-door. And the service wasn't even that great, but we got really good at it. And when I was 19, I ended up buying a Porsche and dropped out of school and came to LA. And my brother did this with me. My parents were not happy about this at all, but my brother did that too. He bought a Porsche too, and he bought this house in Riverside. And so we were running this thing out of there, and it was like a little mini fraternity. We had 13 guys living there with bunk beds and everything. And by the time I turned 21, we actually got this to over $1 million in revenue. And I bought this Ferrari. My brother and I bought this $1 million house, and we thought we were going to be rich. And the company we were selling for went bankrupt at the end of 2004. And I was young and naive, so I spent all my money on the things mentioned and had to move back with my dad. And it was a tough time. But through that experience, it was good. I mean, from ashes rise new trees or plants or whatever the bigger speech is. And so I actually had a complete conversion experience and started working in the ministry with my church for 2 years. And after that, I went back to school at UC Berkeley and started selling cell phones and got that up to over another $1 million in revenue. And then I graduated in December 2010. And then I saw the King's Speech. So,
You know, there's nothing like having to struggle with a business to make you realize how to get your act together the next time you start a business. That's a huge learning curve. Congratulations on surviving it.
Absolutely. Instead of paying $30,000 in tuition to a university, you just pay it to your credit card companies or whatever.
Exactly. That's a great.
You pay the money.
That's a great attitude.
So let's switch back to Dealflicks. You're in about 600 theaters right now, and there's certainly more theaters to grow. What are your challenges? Are your challenges breaking into new theaters, or are your challenges getting the word out to a larger audience? What are you going to be focusing on for the next 6 months?
Yeah, that's a great question. So over the last year, we really focused on the big chains. And so we started making some progress with the bigger chains, and we're still talking a lot of the bigger chains. So that's a big point of focus for us over the next 6 months. And we're also focused on expanding our customer base. Over the last 6 months, we found a couple of new really good marketing channels that have been working well. So we're just continuing to do marketing over the next 6 months. One of the new projects that we're picking up right now is advertising on our platform. So that's a new revenue stream for us. And international expansion is another new thing that's on our plate now. So my co-founder was actually just in Spain for almost a month. Some of that was work, some of it was not. But he was over there, and we were in Canada as well. And so we're working on that. Those are some of the new things that we're looking at getting into as the next 6 months, 12 months go on.
Yeah, I don't understand business, but I don't understand the resistance of the chains. I mean, this is a chance for them to put bodies in the seats when there are no bodies in the seats there. I mean, isn't there a way that we can tell that how many people are in the theater or are going to be at that particular screening now with reserved seats and things like that? I mean, how hard can this be? There should not be any resistance.
You sound like me, so we should talk afterwards and come with me on the next week.
Yeah, absolutely. You're idiots. You're all idiots.
But yeah, I mean, they're coming around now more because initially it was just we were the new kids on the block, and it's a very closed industry. It's a lot of people that have been doing business together for 40 years, and not a lot of new people, new faces coming in. So initially it was hard to break in, and once we broke in, a lot of them wanted to see us play around with the newer guys, the small independents. But now that we've had a lot of success and we've shown a lot of great results, everyone's pretty open. We're just getting the meetings and kind of trying to make it a priority. But it's growing. We're doing our thing, but it does take time. So,
are you going to stay focused on movies, or are you going to expand this into concert tickets and live theater and other venues?
Yeah. So strategically, we're looking at just movies for the near future. International is a big thing. We're also looking at potentially even getting into dynamic pricing in a bigger way. So right now, their price will fluctuate quite a bit depending on day of week, time of day, things of that nature. But we want to make it even more fully dynamic. So it will actually even get to the point where if all the deals sell out and there's no more discount ticketing available, you can still buy full price tickets on the platform. So we can become a one-stop shop, and whatever you want to buy, whether it's movie tickets or deals or whatever it is for the theaters, we have that. So that's kind of the next big phase rollout. From there, I think once we really get ubiquitous, we might even look at other industries. But right now, we're totally focused on the movie theater industry because it's so big.
That's a very cool idea. And how long ago was the company founded?
Yeah, we just had our 3-year anniversary a few days ago, so we got a little birthday cake with the 3-candle thing on there. We launched July 13th, 2012. So
Congratulations, 3 years old. And for people that want to learn more about where to get deals on their movie tickets, where can they go?
Absolutely. You can download our app in the iOS, iPhone App Store, or Android App Store, Dealflicks, Dealflicks. You can go to dealflicks.com, and you can also find us on Twitter at Dealflicks or on Facebook/Dealflicks.
Okay, so we need some more theaters in Los Angeles. Okay.
So
absolutely, yes. If you're listening to this and there's a theater that you go to that's not on Dealflicks, go to them, talk to the manager, and tell them you need to be on Dealflicks because I'm losing my mind. That helps so much. We've had a few theaters sign up even after just 3 people told them to sign up with Dealflicks.
So. Oh, great.
See, Mike, you can be their LA rep and go around and bid up on theater owners and say, how stupid are you?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, how stupid are you? What are you thinking?
Sean, thank you so very much for joining us. Sean Wycliffe is the CEO and co-founder of Dealflicks at dealflicks.com. We wish you great success and thanks for joining us today.
Thanks so much for having me.
Thanks, Sean.
Take care. Bye-bye.